There comes a time in every pet parent's life when they look at their pets and wonder, what made you do that? It's natural for human beings to associate human traits with any living organism, even with dogs. For example, we shake heads to greet someone, and we can't fathom a world where this is replaced with sniffing butts, but this is normal for your pet. What's strange for us, like dogs munching on grass, might either be normal for them or be an indicator for something. Health concerns, emotional indicators, and such. Just because you speak and your dog barks doesn't mean you can't find a way to understand them. Today, we're looking at 10 odd behaviors exhibited by dogs and dissecting them to see what they mean. Number 10. When dogs eat grass. You took your canine companion to the park one day and noticed them eating grass. What do? Your first instinct would be to run to them and make them stop. But it doesn't stop. Your pet will find a way to nibble on grass anytime it's out. Should you be concerned? Luckily, this isn't an indicator for an underlying health concern. Your dog might eat grass for a variety of reasons, such as to get more roughage into their diet, ancestral instincts, and just because they wanted to. Grass is a source of fiber, and some veterinarians believe that canines might nibble on blades of grass to relieve upset stomachs. However, this isn't all that common nowadays owing to packaged dog food with complete nutritional values. The next explanation takes us back a couple of centuries. Ancestral animals didn't have store-bought dog food to have for dinner. Instead, they would hunt and eat whatever they could to survive, including grass. While grass might not be the best source of nutrition, there are invariably some nutrients in it, just enough to fill your stomach for a while. Lastly, your dog might just like the taste of grass. Around 25% of all canines are found to nibble on blades of grass any chance they get. However, it is important to understand that this behavior should be discouraged. Eating grass means also ingesting pesticides and insecticides that are sprayed on it. Your dog might even take in a bug or two or harm their oral mucosa with particularly sharp blades of grass. Number 9. Running around in circles. Most animals run around in circles, and pet parents perceive it as something that's adorable. What's not there to love about an adorable dog running around chasing its tail? A lot, apparently. The only time it's natural for your dog to run around in a circle is when they're either preparing to go to bed or when they've had something on their tail that they're trying to get off. Sinister causes might include ear infections, seizures, or other neurological disturbances. The fluid in your ears controls your stability. If the fluid is moving, you'll feel dizzy and lightheaded. If your dog has an inner ear infection, they'll be running around in a desperate bid to try and regain their center of gravity. Number 8. The Zoonies. Seemingly random outbursts of energy wherein your dog gets incredibly hyper, runs around the entire room or yard, and it's impossible to get them to calm down? Yeah, that's called the Zoonies. It's pretty easy to decipher this one. Your pet is incredibly happy. These outbursts of energy are, in fact, not that random. Your pet is trying to find an outlook for all the energy that's building up inside of them. You might find that your dog gets these random bursts of energy usually following a bath. They'll contain their excitement during the bath, but will probably channel that energy through laps around the yard once you're done giving them that bath. 7. Staring at you. Out of the corner of your eye, you might feel like someone's watching you. It's almost like you're always being watched by your dog. While not all dogs stare, some of them stare excessively, either at their pet parents or at strangers. What are they looking for? If your pet is looking at you, they're probably trying to tell you something, or simply because they like looking at you. There's a common technique in dog behavioral management known as watch and see. Basically, when your dog wants or needs something instead of causing havoc, they're trained to just look towards you with their head slightly raised. The technique might even be subconsciously taught with pet parents constantly praising their dogs by holding their gaze. However, if your pet is staring a little too much at strangers, it might be because they're perceiving them as a threat. Well, at least they like you. Number 6. Licking their paws. After a particularly energetic walk around the park, your dog will take a minute to lie down, and in that time, they'll probably be licking their paws. This is considered normal following strenuous activity because licking their paws releases endorphins, feel-good hormones. However, if your pet is habitually licking their paws, then there might be something going on. For example, your dog might have something stuck to their paws that they can't seem to get out, or they might have an inflammation around their paws that causes a burning sensation they're trying to relieve. For more aged dogs, licking their paws might be a sign of an ailing bone condition known as osteoarthritis. The condition is a painful inflammation of the joints, usually owing to old age. Licking, as mentioned, releases feel-good hormones, and your dog might just be doing it palliatively. Number 5. Sniffing butts. What do you do when you first meet someone? You'd introduce yourself. Dogs do the same, albeit not in the exact same way. Dogs introduce themselves to one another by sniffing each other's butts. Anal glands have scent markers, and these markers are indicative of whether a dog is anxious, happy, scared, or angry. When you see your dog approaching another and a mutual butt-sniffing interaction going on between the two, don't stop it. Your dog needs this interaction in order to become comfortable. Number 4. Yawning. What does yawning indicate? It's probably time for bed. Dogs yawn for more or less the same reasons. The primal reason why they yawn is to indicate that they're sleepy, and if they've come up to you just to yawn means that they want you to either set up their space and help them in some way for bedtime. Besides this harmless reason for yawning, your dog might also yawn as an indicator for stress. This yawning isn't as continuous as when they're tired and want to go to bed. You might have noticed your dog yawning a little more than usual when they're in the presence of someone they don't know. It's important to give your dog some space when they indicate that they're in stress, or at least create a stress-free environment for them. Number 3. Eating poop. If you saw your pet eating feces, you'd probably run to stop them. It's a pretty common thing to do, actually. I mean, who wouldn't actively encourage this behavior? But should you disencourage it? Experts say that dogs creating their own excrements isn't to indicate a sinister cause. It's probably ancestral. Wolves would sometimes rely on eating feces to survive when they couldn't find anything else to eat. However, you're not supposed to encourage it either. The behavior might have devastating effects if your pet ingests bacteria and other microorganisms. Number 2. Barking at the window. The age-old battle between dog versus mailman. Your dog will probably lean towards the window anytime they see someone approaching, but will only bark once they see them come to your property. Well, their property. The reason why dogs bark at people approaching your home is because it's their home as well. Your dog has scouted the entire premises if your house has been marked where your territory begins and where it ends. If they see someone trying to come up on your territory, they'll perceive it as a threat. If they, however, see a familiar face come up day in day, they'll stop barking at them. Essentially, your dog is only barking at people it thinks are a threat to it and its territory. Number 1. Searching for the perfect place to poop. Why does your dog go through so much time and effort to find the absolute perfect place to poop? To you, the entire place may look accessible enough for your pet to relieve itself. However, your pet wants to find the right spot. Why? Well, there are several theories to this. Your dog might be scavenging the area for predators before it allows itself to go. It might need a flat surface that's easy and comfortable for them to bend over. And lastly, they tend to align themselves in a north-south direction. The last theory is perhaps the most interesting one, but hasn't given a significant enough reason for why dogs relieve themselves in a north-south position, but it's true. A study concluded that dogs very rarely, if ever, would relieve themselves in an east-west direction. When we come up with a way to verbally communicate with dogs, this would be the first thing we would want to ask them. Alright, comment down below if you learned a thing or two about your dog today. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to INFORAMA, and we'll see you in the next one.